Welcome to Marketplace Tech Bytes. We're here to unpack some of the big headlines in tech this week, and maybe some stories you might have missed. I'm Meghan McCarty, Carino. This week, Meta adopts community-based fact-checking. YouTubers are suing PayPal over a scandal with affiliate links. And we'll get into some of the tech trends from this year's Consumer Electronics Show. Here to discuss all that is our regular contributor, Joanna Stern, senior personal technology columnist at the Wall Street Journal. Hey, Joanna.
Hey, Meghan.
Good to have you. So first up, we always have our Byte of the Week. This is a number that gives us some insight into the week in tech. So Joanna, what number should we have our eyes on this week?
I'm going with 60 billion. It's just a small sum of money because that is what Anthropic, which is the maker of Claude, the popular chatbot, is valued at, as it is in talks right now to raise $2 billion. So they're trying to look to raise $2 billion in a deal that would value it at $60 billion. And this is just one of the AI startups out there right now.
Right.
One of the biggest, to be clear, behind OpenAI, but still, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. And usually we have a lot of talk about AI for Marketplace Tech Bytes. This week, we're going to start off with some old school social media news. First up, Meta announcing some major changes to their platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, WhatsApp. CEO Mark Zuckerberg explained some of these changes in a video address this week. They include an end to third-party fact-checking. This was a partnership that Meta had since 2016 with 10 media and nonprofit organizations to conduct kind of professional fact-checking on some content. Here's what Zuckerberg said about why they decided to discontinue that.
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact-checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
Okay, so he says they're moving to a system that's sort of more like what X does with crowdsourced community notes. These are going to provide more context. He also announced some changes to their community guidelines, pulling back certain prohibitions for what is considered violative speech. Joanna, what did you make of these announcements?
Well, it's really a huge reversal, a huge value reversal, a huge reversal in both the way they think about technology, but the way they think about moderation. I think the biggest thing for me is obviously the alignment that we're seeing between Meta and X. And obviously these are two huge competitors, but also we are seeing a lot of happening in tech, and you guys have covered this on the show in the last couple of weeks, but happening in tech of these big tech companies trying to make sure they are cozy with the new administration, making sure they are set up to have the best success under this new administration. And it's a power grab. And so I think for looking at what I usually always do with tech is look at what's going to happen for users. What are they going to be experiencing? I think the experience is probably going to become similar to if you're an X user, at least when you look at the community notes. I think the community notes on X are really hit or miss. I find them very valuable a lot. And just for listeners who don't kind of know how it works, is if you see something that if there's a post that isn't accurate, or it might embellish the details, or it can be completely wrong, the community, people on the platform can say, we fact check this, we don't believe this is true, or this is, go to this article for some more information. And so the community is moderating itself, not third-party fact checkers, not Meta employees, not any other type of big owner of the company, though that remains to be seen. As obviously they have a lot of control over what is seen on these platforms.
Right. Interesting that they are moving in the direction of X, kind of this conscious decision for more speech, which Mark Zuckerberg, in his comments sort of acknowledged this is going to mean more bad stuff, more, offensive speech, more, non-factual speech, but that, it's a trade-off that they want to make for a less restrictive environment on speech on their platforms. It is interesting for the user side. Obviously X has the conversation around X has spawned this search for the next place for people who are unhappy with that model to gather. I'm curious, if the same thing's going to happen with Meta platforms.
Yeah, I think, look, Meta has the stronghold on social media, at least in the US and beyond. Look, they're the global leader when you look at all of the platforms, Instagram, Facebook proper, Threads, all of these are continue to grow. People aren't just, some will up and leave, but it will not be the masses. It just will not be the masses. And look, we've seen that on X. People said they were an up and leave, and X is ticking along just fine. I mean, the engagement numbers, we can't be quite sure about all of that, but I think if you look at this though, bigger picture, it's just such a reversal. But it's really, to me, it's, if you were using X, and I look at this, it's sort of the bigger picture way of when I use X and I use really any social media platform, I fact check everything I see. I don't almost believe anything I see unless it's really innocuous. I think everyone has to have that mindset now, whatever app they are using. And they should have been doing this regardless, but it puts the need for digital literacy back onto the users. And it's really not back, it just always should be that way, but it heightens the importance for that.
All right, now on to a legal dispute between YouTube influencers and PayPal. There is a class action lawsuit against the payment company over how its subsidiary Honey has been allegedly messing with creator affiliate links. These are the links to products that you see on videos. When creators talk about a product, a user clicks through, buys something, they earn a small commission on this. And Honey is this browser extension that helps you find discount codes. A YouTuber called Meghan originally investigated how using the Honey extension might be superseding those affiliate links. Here is how the YouTuber Legal Eagle, who launched this class action suit, explains what is allegedly going on.
As Meghan and others have explained, and as we aver, Honey interjects itself at the last possible moment and erases evidence of the real person who was responsible and takes credit. It looks like Honey opens up a new tab or refreshes the checkout page and replaces the creator's information with Honey's information, and most importantly, Honey's attribution codes. The creator gets nothing.
Joanna, what stands out to you about this case and, kind of the creator economy?
Well, first of all, it's pretty complicated, and you did a nice job going over how it works on the basics. But what I think is really fascinating about this and the investigation, if you watch the Legal Eagle full interview and more of what a lot of YouTubers have chimed in on, is there's a lot of technical proof to what they were doing. I mean, there's screen recordings, there's URLs that show what this company was doing. Now, of course, this is all, the company denies this. They say this is not what has been happening. They follow last click procedures, which is basically your last click is going to get that the attribution and going to get the affiliate money. I think what it really does illustrate, though, is, first of all, the power of the creator economy. I mean, these are not only the people who are being harmed the most, possibly from this, what is allegedly happening, are the people who are discovering this. And so it's really nice to see that sort of investigation and this kind of come out. I think, again, coming back to what users know, I mean, I'm not sure anyone normally who might have been using Honey would ever have noticed this, right? I don't think you never would have said, oh, yeah, that looks like a shady practice. And so we'll have to see what happens with this investigation. But I think, like, huge power to these creators who have found this and figured this out, and will be interesting to watch what happens.
All right, now we want to get to CES. This is the big annual consumer electronics show in Las Vegas this week, where we get to see all the cool gizmos and tech that's going to be coming to market. Of course, some big tech luminaries were there. Here is NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang kicking off the conference Tuesday with the help of some friends.
So, humanoid robots, my friends. The ChatGPT moment for general robotics is just around the corner.
So, Joanna, you've been kind of following the goings on there at CES. I understand robots have been a big presence.
Robots are always a big presence, but that presentation from CEO of NVIDIA was just kind of amazing. And he also went on to say that he thinks in the next couple of years that these humanoid robots are going to be a $38 billion market. And that's in the next couple decades. But, what we have right now and like what they're really showing is, better vacuum robots. Yeah, and I was really, really intrigued by that. They had a couple of different showings of different, new types of Roomba type of technology, one that has an arm on it that can pick up,
Yes.
if a sock is in your way. So, look, humanoid robots and advanced AI is coming, but right now it should pick up your socks.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of, kind of smart home devices and all those things, we used to talk a lot about kind of the Internet of Things. Now it sounds like we're talking about the AI of things. What have you been seeing on that front?
Yes, it was a ton of AI and everything at the show. I mean, stuff that I think you would have just normally said was, better smarts or better technology was just tagged as AI. So you saw that
Of
around
course.
everything from smart rings to TVs to laptops. All of the things are getting better at AI. I do think the AI and TVs thing is going to be interesting. You had Samsung, LG, others talking about partnerships they're making there. Specifically, LG is partnering with Microsoft's Copilot, so they'll have integration there. They were very vague on the details right now, where I do think, like, again, where we used to have typical just machine learning improvements in software around TVs, where better scaling of video, better improvements in quality, audio remastering, those things. And now that's all kind of being rebranded as better AI, better ways that you're going to get both video and audio images through TVs. And I think bringing it all to like either the TV or the home in some central AI hub is where we're moving. I mean, there's been talk about smart home improvements for years. And I could get into a lot of the nitty gritty of what was talked about at CES around ways to improve that. But I think that using these devices as AI in the home is where like we are really possibly going to unlock more in the next year.
Well, was there a particular product unveil that you were especially excited about?
Look, it is an AI, but Samsung has this Frame TV. Are you familiar with the Frame
Yes.
TV?
Oh, yes.
So I have
Beautiful.
I have two Frame TVs in my house. And here's the thing. They're not very good TVs.
Huh.
And, the quality of them isn't great. And also they have this very frustrating box that they pair with. But Samsung talked about this Frame TV Pro. They demoed this. And so I'm very excited about this. I know it's kind of like, okay, it's just a TV with a frame around it. And like, is that really like cutting edge technology? But it really looks so pretty on your wall. And I have I'll tell it. I have a very tough story to retell about how I have a huge hole in the back of my like the wall behind my TV, because we had to cut a big hole to get the adapter through because of this box that goes underneath the TV. And so now Samsung has made a wireless version of that. So there's a wireless box that goes with this TV. So look, Frame TV, I'm excited about it. Clearly.
Right. Yeah. Well, I really need a robot to pick up the socks off my floor, because in the absence of that, it's my dog and he just eats them. So I'm excited about that. All right, Joanna Stern at the Wall Street Journal. So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And thanks to all of you for watching Marketplace Tech Bytes Week in Review. Daniel Shin produced this episode. I'm Meghan McCarty Carino. This is APM.